right, aloha. We're gonna take a look at the Kalihiwai Ridge neighborhood. Life is short. Buy the beach house, live the dream. Now coming from Princeville, going towards Kilauea, I just went over the beautiful Kalihiwai Bridge, and I've turned into the Kalihiwai Ridge neighborhood, and I've turned in off of Kaliiholo. So I've just turned into the Kalihiwai Ridge neighborhood. We're gonna drive north. Now when this ag neighborhood was first developed, it was completely covered in this bush in front of me, which is the challah bush, right? For a very long time, this general area was used for both cattle ranching, and also there was a sugarcane plantation up here. They had stopped doing that, and this whole area was covered in that how bush. So when they originally drew up this ag subdivision, they didn't know exactly where the ridge was, and there is a ridge in Kalihiwai Ridge, and right now it's on this side of the road. So they established basically 25-acre parcels. Almost all of those parcels have been CPR'd. If you don't know what a CPR is, look at the video in the link below, and we'll talk about CPRs. But it's a super common way to separate land in the state of Hawaii. And the Kalihiwai Ridge neighborhood is a great example of that. Now when we're driving by some of these driveways, you're gonna see a lot of mailboxes. That's one clue that that driveway feeds into like 4 to 6 other properties. And they all started with basically like a 25-acre parcel. So all the lots up here are really like 2 acres plus. For example, this one right here for sale, on the market at $2,950,000. You can see from this little wall that there are 4 homes in there, right? Because you see the little addresses for the 4 homes. Well, a lot of these driveways have that, right? Now, when it's the same number, let's say 5,000, right? 5,000A, 5,000B, you know that's a CPR because they have the same street address, but they are differentiated by a letter, at least on Kauai. We're getting close. This one right here, this one recently sold. Beautiful home. The sellers had impeccable taste. It sold for $3,400,000 cash, right? Not a huge parcel for Kalihiwai Ridge in that it had 2 acres. Now, as I said earlier, the homes on this side of the road, they could be on the ridge. Now it does, just because it's on this side of the road doesn't mean it is on the ridge. But the value in having a home on the ridge is that once, you know, the drop off to the valley below and what you're looking at, most of that is conservation land, right? So you don't have to worry about anyone else building or your view changing dramatically, right? It's conservation land. It's gonna stay in its beautiful green natural state, which is part of why people come to Kauai, right? If you look in the overhead camera right now, the view of Namahama is beautiful, right? So this side they have potentially on the ridge. On this side and on this side, you could have great views of the Namahama mountain range, which is beautiful. These are all ag lots. What does that mean? Well, Kauai really does want ag production on their ag lots. You know, we, for a long time, we're big producers of agriculture. So one thing that is common for ag is to see some kind of hardwood being grown, right? Exotic palm trees or a variety of palm trees. That's another common ag production. Now Kauai is changing their ag laws. That might not count as ag production anymore. It looks like it won't, but for now that's what they're doing. There are a lot of kind of these gentleman farms here too. So what they'll do, you know, part of the Kalihiwai dream is to have an organic farm, right? It's one of the reasons why people move here. So in the Kalihiwai Ridge neighborhood, you have these beautiful homes on acreage, tons of privacy, and you can have your organic farm, right? So you can kind of live that utopia kind of Kauai dream that so many people dream about. And this is one of those neighborhoods where they do it. As we drive up this road in the Kalihiwai Ridge neighborhood, we are actually going through different climate zones, right? So the closer you are to the highway, the drier it is. Now this is a beautiful sunny day, but in the winter, and really any time during the year, the further you get into the interior, the more rain you will experience, right? So as we go into the interior, we're getting more and more rain. We're coming up close on a property that has, actually not yet, but isn't this a beautiful Kalihiwai day, right? So we're coming up on one of probably the top price that has sold recently, which closed for $5,975,000, right? Now this was a beautiful, beautiful home on 4.25 acres. And we've just passed it a little ways back, 5792. But you can tell on one of these beautiful sunny Kauai days, this is pretty magical up here, right? Lots of people have what I call the Kalihiwai Ridge dream, right? Which is to live on acreage, to live more sustainably, to have an organic farm, right? It is kind of, it's utopia, right, for a lot of people. Now we're coming up on two homes that are on the market for sale. Both of them are great. This one right here, it's listed at $3,250,000. It's been beautifully redone, and the views from it are lovely. It's on 2.61 acres, right? So a good amount of acreage, not a huge amount for Kalihiwai Ridge, but you know, it is the jungle. As I like to say, the jungle is always trying to take over. So yard work is a real thing, right? It's very serious. Now this next house I really love it. And I love it because even though it was built in 1995, it was built true to form, to a true Hawaiian plantation home, right? The windows, the floor plan, the ceiling height, everything. I mean, it is, you've got to love a Hawaiian plantation home, but if you do, like me, this is pretty special. And it's down this driveway right here, right? Another thing that's nice about it, it's 13.6 acres. Huge property, right? You can have a ton of privacy. There's a lot you can do there. You want to do some real ag production? You can probably do that with 13 acres, right? So many possibilities. Now, one of the things that is unique to the Kalihiwai Ridge neighborhood, and we're going to kind of talk about in this cul-de-sac, is that there is a reservoir. It's a privately owned reservoir. The neighborhood is very involved with it, and it's right back there, kind of down those driveways. You could see it. So some of the homes up at the end have views of this 21-acre reservoir, which is also beautiful, right? Now this is a great example. Like, you can see this driveway going down there. It says private road, no trespassing. And these CPR driveways are private, right? It's not a county road. People should not just drive down them because they're curious. And you can see them right outside here, this row of mailboxes, right? So there are a little hui, as we like to say, of homes down that road, right? And the roads are private. They're owned typically by the CPR, and it's a shared element. So when you see a row of mailboxes, you know it's not a single driveway, right? Often it's a shared driveway. Sometimes it's an easement as well, but it's a driveway that more than one person is using. So this next property on the market, I really like it too, and I think it has a lot of value. So it is just under 9 acres, listed at just under 9 acres, listed at 2.9 million. And the house has been remodeled, refreshed, redone, right? And so 9 acres for under 3 million that's a pretty good deal on Kauai, right? So it's this neighborhood, it's this driveway up here, right here, 6001. You can kind of see it, but you can see the large acreage. It's sort of like this hub right here. Doing some work up there, right? Often when people first start talking to me about where they'd love to live on Kauai, Kalihiwai Ridge is the neighborhood that they bring up, right? And you can see from the footage that I'm showing you, it's just such a beautiful area, right? And the next home we're gonna pass is the house of one of my clients, my first clients that bought in the Kalihiwai Ridge neighborhood, and they recently put in a pool. They bought a house and they have transformed it, right? It's a totally different experience now, and they've really added a lot of value, and it's been great for them. And that's common on Kauai, right? Often when I talk to people and they'll say to me, oh, I'm totally good with a property that needs some work, I will say to them, well, that's great, because we have a lot of that on Kauai, right? So it's helpful, it's not necessary, but it's helpful if you know what you want and you have the ability to execute on it, right? Because a lot of things on Kauai are project properties, but what you get in return, you know, is you get to live in paradise. So that's valuable. What people love about Kalihiwai Ridge, right? If you're on the ridge, you're looking out at conservation, mostly at conservation land. You have views of the Namahama mountain range, and you've got these large ag parcels, right? So you can sit on your lanai, look at your beautiful view, and you know, just enjoy the quiet, the tropical bird sounds, and the leaves rustling in the wind as you know, take in the beauty of Kauai. All right, aloha. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and we'll do another neighborhood tour soon. All right, aloha.